Hi guys, this is Ben for Sauropod, and today I'm with our co-founders Germain, is also the artist of the studio, and he's gonna show us a nice little feature for the next update. You know, the Bricktrons are a little bleak; they have no expression, but soon they will. So let's see what you have for us, Germain.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna show you like a new system we created for to give the Bricktrons more expressions.
Yeah, live. Yeah.
Like they had expressions before, but we were very limited with what we could do. So I came up with a way using shaders to have almost unlimited expressions. But only using textures, so no keyframe animation and no
pre-rendered stuff.
Nothing pre-rendered, only textures.
Okay.
So
that's the Bricktron at the current state.
Yes, it's in the game right now. It works. We're not using most of the animations, but the system is already there, and we're gonna start adding new expressions as soon as the game ships. And the way it works is it's really easy. Select an expression, and then you and it goes and fetches parts of the textures, mixing the eyes and the mouth to get the right expression.
So you don't do an expression with the eyes and the mouth combined. You have to separate both of them.
Well, I have limited room in my textures.
Okay. That's an example.
Yeah, this is the diffuse textures right now. Diffuse is only color.
Yeah.
Actually, the normal map is actually more nice to look at.
Normal maps like the depth.
Yeah, normal maps is like added detail that isn't in the mesh.
Okay.
We use normal maps almost everywhere in the game to add more detail where there isn't.
Okay.
Right. So I use normal maps instead of actually modeling the face because it's simpler and it's
lighter too.
It's faster, it's simpler to do, and it actually looks better.
Yeah.
I have an example of a test I did a few months ago where I tried to model
the eye directly in the model.
I tried to model the face of the Brickron directly in the mesh. That actually took a reasonable amount of time, but making all the possible faces would have taken a long time to do, and I decided it wasn't feasible.
Yeah.
And the result was not better than if I did it with textures. One thing I did a long time ago, actually, I made this texture, this concept art piece where that's actually really old.
It's like 2 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, like I told you earlier, this is something that we did at the start of the project.
Yeah.
That we used to sort of pinpoint what Bricktrons were and how they behaved. So this is actually something you can find on the internet. It's 25 essential expression that you need to draw to really pinpoint what your character felt like.
Yeah, it's for artists, but also people in the game industry. So it's like like the word says, challenge.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. So if you can draw an expression for each of those words, that means you sort of know how your character looks and how it behaves. So this is something I did a long time ago, but you can see like 25 expressions. That's a lot of. If I did one face for each, it would take a long time and it would use a lot of space in my texture. You see, like the bottom half or the bottom third of the texture is for the body, and I need it. I need it for detail, to make it look more smooth. Exactly.
So what do you do then for having to have face available? You make the eyes and the mouth separate?
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly. I split the eyes and the mouth, and like if we come back to that texture right here, it takes I reuse a lot of eyes somewhere, but only subtleties to make it different.
Okay, you can see also some eyebrows are the same on some expression.
At that time, earlier in the project, we thought we might give eyebrows to the Bricktrons. We decided not to go for it because it was
That's a bit strange, actually.
It's sort of creepy, yeah. But yeah, so So if I can mix and match the eyes and the mouth and reuse the same mouth for 2 expressions or 3 expressions, that gives me a lot more room. So I decided that if I had 12 faces and 12 mouths, I could probably recreate almost all of the faces in that chart I did.
So afterwards, what you do if you call upon the mouth and you call upon the eyes?
Yes. I use actually. So in 3D, there's a concept called UV coordinates. So for each triangle, so like every triangle and every corner, there's somewhere in the data it tells you where to read in the texture. So for example, in the face I have these few triangles that make the face. There isn't a lot, so we need to save triangles for performance.
More triangle, more
it's slower. Exactly. And there's somewhere in the UV map it tells to read this part of the texture. And I made a shader that sort of takes each the eyes and the mouths and sort of moves it around, so that, for example, these eyes end up in this place, and I don't know, this mouth ends up here, and then I get this
a new expression. And you don't have to put every expression in the texture.
Exactly. I only have to make to create the building blocks.
The example we had before recordings, like the thing in Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 3. With the game with the mushroom, the star, and the flower, that's exactly the same thing.
The slot machine.
Exactly.
Slot machine thing. It's actually like that. For example, I could go and take the skin right here, and actually mess with the shader itself. So I can move these sliders around. So I could have like this guy that's sort of mad, grumpy, and it sort of helps me to mix and match expressions, and then we save them as a coordinate, and then we put in a script. And then if I want this guy to be pouty or angry, just click, and then it's going to move those sliders around. And we're going to end up with this. I wrote the shader myself with using ShaderForge.
Yeah, we've seen that before. It's like we'd call this.
It's usually shaders are written by code. But this actually writes it for you later. It's really useful. We can refer to that old video. How useful that is for an artist that knows sort of.
It's visual coding.
Exactly, and it's actually bigger than it looks. That's the script, because there's a few subtleties in the shader. For example, this part right here, it's to get that reflection in the eyes.
Yeah, I see it.
That sort of makes the eyes sort of cartoonish and nice to look at and glossy.
And not dead stare.
Exactly. So this part of the shader is to create that. So that's not relevant to what we're talking about right now. And then this part is the part to calculate how to move the textures around. And then I use a reference texture here that says the red part is the part I want you to grab the eyes to move around, and the green part is
the mouth.
So I made a mask texture to move those things around. And then I tried to get the normal maps and the diffuse map to move together. And so right now there's a few bugs right here. For example, the specular map doesn't move around with the rest, but I need to fix those.
Specular, what would be like?
The specular is the parts that are shiny versus the parts that are
on the head.
The eyes are at the moment are the only parts that are shiny. But so I need to fix that. But it's almost done actually. But yeah.
When in the game, when this kind of expression is going to be called upon, it's like when he gets mad.
When he gets hurt, but we want
when his friend just died.
I mean, we want the characters to be expressive, and we want that players can look at the faces of the Bricktrons and sort of understand what's going on in their head. That's it's hard at the moment to understand like what they're thinking about. But we hope that the expansions will help.
For example, when he can't find a resource to put somewhere,
you might have this face actually. This face, like the guy is sort of confused. He's sort of, what's going on? And But yeah, before we did that, we used a much more crude way of doing it. We actually put another set of polygons right in front of his face. So like the Bricktrons didn't have faces in their textures. They actually had a separate part that was in front. But we ended up with sort of little problems. When you zoomed out, there was little pixels that became.
You could see that it wasn't the same thing.
We had a couple of issues, and also using transparency is usually not a good idea. Mm-hmm. It's heavier on the performance. So if we can now put that together and then write a shader that takes care of all of it, it's super simple. Mm-hmm. It's super optimized. The programmers don't have to understand what's going on in the program to use it. Okay. And that's the point. And also, but it looks nicer.
Yeah. Can you show us a bunch of expression you have for now?
Yeah, for sure. Let's see.
Just a few.
Yep. So how about happy?
Yeah.
Ill. That one's fun.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The guy looks like sort of.
He's sick or something.
And how about what the fuck?
Yeah,
that one's
cute. Yeah.
It's a bit weird. We haven't tweaked the face to look really good, but how about pleased?
Yeah. This camera like full of himself.
Yeah.
I like it.
Maybe angry.
Yeah, the teeth.
Confused. I like that one.
Mm-hmm. But for now, what's the state for now? It's only bleak. It's like blank.
Yeah, that's the standard face.
Okay.
That
there's the game right now.
That's in the game right now.
Okay.
And we're gonna keep it that way. But basically, eventually, hopefully, you will be able to tell what's going on in their head and why they're not working, or if they're happy or not, just by looking at their faces.
Okay.
And that's the whole point.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love it.